This awesome device has been launching around the world. It goes by a few different names. You may recognize it as the Wellspa IO, or maybe as the New Wave IO, or if you're in the US, as most of you probably are viewing this, it's the Renew Spa. Congratulations, it just passed FDA clearance, which is a big deal, and that means that many of you will be able to get your hands on this device really soon. So with that in mind, how do we look after this device to ensure that it lasts as long as possible? So the first thing to keep in mind is this is using a lithium battery, so you want to charge it up fully to ensure that the battery health is going to be as strong as possible. And that's the first thing I do whenever I get a new device from Nu Skin, is I put it on the charging base. In this case, it's this flat charging base that you see here. You just plug that into a USB plug, sit the device on it, and it will power up. Once that is done, you won't need to charge this for ages. I have only done it about once a month so far. And the next step is how to clean your device after you've used it. You will need a hand towel, a face washer, a towel of some sort, maybe a paper towel. But I like to do it with one part, maybe like a corner of the towel to be damp. So I'll wet that, wring it out a bit so there's a bit of moisture on there. And I'll use that to wipe the excess gel that inevitably is around these nodes that you see here. Now they've made it very, very easy to keep this clean because this is actually liquid medical grade silicone sleeve that is on the top here. It's got a premium coating on it, so it feels amazing. It's very easy to hold, so it's unlikely for people to slip. It's harder to drop it, that's for sure, which has been one of the biggest risks to the devices from the Nu Skin range, is all devices in the world, is the risk of people dropping them. That's the greatest danger to them, so they've really gone to great lengths to make sure this is much more ergonomic, so easier to hang on to from all sorts of different angles, and has that non-slip finish. It is not waterproof, so you don't want to be submerging this into water. It is water resistant, so as long as you've got that damp cloth, you're wiping off the excess gels around here, making sure you're getting into just the little grooves, nooks and crannies. I'd wipe off around the top of it as well, and then use the other side of that same cloth that isn't wet, using the dry side, and just make sure you dry off all that moisture, and then you're right to sit that either on the charger. I wouldn't have the charger plugged in because you're going to be just constantly overcharging the battery. You don't want to do that, so make sure it's not actually on. Only when you need to charge it should it be on. Or sit it somewhere that is nice and dry. It's not in a humid environment. I don't recommend leaving your devices in a bathroom, although that is a convenient space. Maybe if you're going to leave it in the bathroom, put it in a cupboard or somewhere that's not getting as much moisture that potentially comes from the shower area. So once you've stored it in that dry, safe place, that's it. It's very easy to look after this. So for those who haven't seen much about this device, or who missed the recent technical presentation, there's a fantastic little segment from Steve Powell, who is the head of the device segment of Nu Skin. So all the devices you see behind me, he's been leading the team of engineers there, played a massive role in bringing this incredible technology to the market. I'm going to pass it over to him, and then I'll chat to you at the end.
Amazing in the hand. Okay, the ergonomics on this thing is incredible, and we'll talk about that as far as the massage in a minute. But the feel of it, what you're really feeling is what's called a liquid silicone medical grade sleeve that's on there, and it has a premium coating over the top of the device. That's what you're really feeling on top of the device. And then as far as the nodes, we'll talk about that in a minute as well. But it also has a speaker in there that gives indicators as far as when you're pairing, when you're using, if you're moving too fast, there's indicators that are inside the device that will notify you via sound. There's just some super innovations that have been put into this product that just don't exist out there. And so I'll talk a little bit about the tech and the hardware inside of what's driving this. But in order to have a truly premium, one-of-a-kind treatment experience, you also have to have a premium, one-of-a-kind digital experience that goes with it, which means the hardware needs to talk to the software, and it needs to be able to have this perfect fluid dynamic between it in order to control these. So a few things about the actual current, the adaptive microcurrent that is applied through the Renew Spa. We adjust the current 84 times per second when you use this device. So the device has a processor that's continually monitoring the resistance on the skin. So as it's moving, the resistance obviously moves. And one mistake that I believe other devices have made in the past of our competitors is one size does not fit all. Everybody's different. Everybody's skin's different. Where you live is different. It could be humid. It could be dry. There's all kinds of differences between the treatments. The topicals could be applied more thick, more thin. There's so many variables that go in there. And having a device that can adjust in real time to the exact microcurrent that you need at that exact moment is key. And so we have a really robust processor inside the Renu Spa that adjusts the current that it senses in the resistance 84 times per second for every user. So that's up to 25,000 adjustments that a typical user can plan on receiving in one single 5-minute treatment. That is a ton of adjustments, okay? Not only is that a key innovation that we have in the Renu Spa, we also are introducing a proprietary tech that we have some IP we have filed around, which is called our Comfort Control Tech. And what this does that no device does on the market is as it's watching the resistance, your current could be jumping between levels. So 84 times per second or 25,000 times in a single treatment, it can be moving. And in order to do that, it needs to be safe. We want to have it be comfortable, right? And for some people, when a current jumps from low to high, you could feel that. That could be tingling. It could feel like a little bit of a zap. It depends on the person and how sensitive they are to it. A tech that we introduced for the first time, never done before, is this Comfort Control Tech that will monitor every single jump when it jumps 84 times per second. And if the jump is something that it deems to be that you would be noticeable or feel or uncomfortable, it will ramp the current in that time space just for you based on what it sensed from where you started, where it needs to go to keep it optimal for you. This is something that's never been done in microcurrent before. This is unique to us. It's the first time it's ever been done, and will give a truly unique, premium, comfortable treatment that has not been done in this space before. Okay, so that's the tech on the microcurrent. Steve, let's jump to the next thing that we're offering here, which is the digital side, the insights and tracking. And so the first thing is to talk about the pairing experience, okay? When you get the device, there's a QR code on there. You can snap it. It will download there. You can pair it up. This takes seconds to pair. We've had tens of thousands of pairings already on the device. 0 complaints on the pairing process. It is a truly premium experience. What we do on ours would be considered on the higher end of how a device pairs. You don't need to start pressing Bluetooth buttons and all kinds of weird things. You'll just power on the device. Vera will see that there's a device in the room. It will grab it. It will pair it. It takes probably 2 seconds to do this. And if there's a firmware update, it will download it. This is a truly premium. This is like how some of the higher end devices would do this type of pairing experience. That is available in the Renu Spa right now out of the box when you get it. Some of the things that we're offering on the digital side is our routine library. Right now out of the box, there are 15 routines that you can choose from different wellness to beauty benefits, depending on what you're looking to target, that you can select. It will tell you how to run it, and it will give you like demonstrations of how to actually do that. There's 15 of them that are available in there right now. And of course, those who have seen the Lumi Spa, we have our usage score and tracking, which are similar to what we've done before. Those are also available in Renu Spa. So when we say available, these aren't features that are coming out soon. These are available right now. When you get the Renu Spa and launch them up, all this is available right now. It's in there ready to go. So we were pretty far down the development path, and you've already seen a ton of things that we're doing that no one's ever done before. But we want to take it a step further. Since it's a connected device, would there be a way to actually show the user that the device does exactly what we claim it does? Okay, no one has ever done that before. In order to do that, you need to be able to stream the treatment data to the app. And so we hooked up what you have in front of you, which we call Empower Insights. And I don't know why it's not looping, Steve, but you guys probably saw the animation of why of the graph of why it's running there and what you can see in there, but I'll talk through that. But this is also available right now. When you guys fire this up, this is available, never done before in the industry. Empower Insights is real-time treatment data of exactly what the device is doing on the skin at any given moment and logging the data and stats for you in real time. Or in other words, you can see exactly what it's doing. No one has done this with microcurrent before. What this actually entails in order to do that is a hardware and processor that can actually stream this crazy fast in order to do that. So I talked about how the device can adjust its resistance 84 times per second. In addition to that processing power, the device live streams this to your app at 156 data points every second of what it's actually seeing in the resistance. And we use complex algorithms in order to calculate that and stream that. And when it gets to Vera, we use even more complex proprietary algorithms to interpret it, okay? And Steve, I don't know if your cursor is on there, but you can highlight over the boxes as we go through them. But I'll walk through what is available right now when you guys fire this up with your new spots. The first graph, which is called the microcurrent, is a real-time live stream of the amount of microcurrent that is being delivered. And we're talking, 156 data points per second. This is like real time. It's like immediate. It doesn't have like a 20-second lag. It's like immediate. Like if you move the device, you'll see it immediately represented in the graph. So the first one is the microcurrent being represented in the graph. The second one you'll see, which is the waveform. This is probably my favorite one. This is crazy. So the people who are technical, hopefully you'll geek out on this like we do with my team, okay? Normally, to measure a waveform, you need what's called an oscilloscope, which is usually like an $8,000 to $12,000 piece of industrial equipment that measures the actual electrical waveform pulse that's being generated. We've now put that inside the Vera app to where the data comes in and it interprets it to the exact pulse width, length, height, duration in real time, so you can see exactly what that waveform looks like on the skin. Once we put this together, we actually put it head to head with an industrial oscilloscope and measured it to be within 95% accuracy of what you see in the app. No one's ever done this before. Truly a premium experience. We hope you guys love that. It's a lot of fun to be able to see that. The next one is called the comfort events. When I talked about the resistance being monitored, and if it ever sensed the jump might be something you would feel, we actually put a counter in there so you can see how many times that will happen for you. So it's a proprietary tech that no one's ever done before, but you can actually see it in real time with your own eyes, what it does and what it looks like when that event is thrown. Some people will maybe have 1 to 3 events at a treatment. Other people could have up to like 20 or 30 of these events in there, right? There's things you can do to minimize them, but it's your tech, it's your treatment, it's totally personalized. There's no right or wrong number to it. You can just see and verify with your own eyes what's happening there. And then, of course, the microcurrent adjustments. Sorry, Steve, do you want to say something?
No, just quickly, I just want to say one thing. Number one is comfort events doesn't mean that you had a bad experience and it corrected itself at your expense. What Steve did here was he made sure that the device, to be safe and effective, when it wasn't getting, for instance, enough serum, or it's trying to drive too much of the current into the body for whatever reason, it's having some challenges as you're putting this through and so forth. It starts to ramp up the energy, and it's signaling it, saying, "Hey, we're having to put a lot of energy into this," and so you sometimes will get what's called an arc. But to enable this so it doesn't have any impact on human life, obviously from an empowerment, because people think electricity and its problem. Our bodies are electricity. Okay, we have electrons running through our entire body. Our bodies are filled with electrons. So want to make sure it's clear. This comfort event, you don't even realize it happened because it's so simple and so easy. And it basically, Steve rewrote the technology so that whenever it would get even close to that, it would adjust, bring it back down, and it knows that happened. The only reason we put it in there is just so you know, to kind of give you a sense of, oh, maybe there's not enough product, or maybe there's other things. I got to be using this a little bit more slowly, and you kind of get into a rhythm and so forth, so you can kind of see how that happens. And once people use it, but it doesn't have any impact on the individual. And quite honestly, it's pretty cool. So, and then you can go to the microcurrent adjustments there, Steve. But I just want to make sure everybody knew that. So.
No, great. Yes, thanks, Steve. So the microcurrent adjustments, you probably guess what that one is. That's an actual real counter. It's not make-believe or fake. That's a real counter of every adjustment it is seeing that it's making in the skin in real time. Everybody will have a counter like that so they can see, but that's just how fast this thing is processing and computing. And then the next box down, the product meter, which is pretty fun. It is doing a real-time measurement of the serum. I don't know if quality is the right word, but as the serum starts to dry, it will let you know when you should apply more serum. It's actually monitoring how well the serum and device are performing together. And of course, serum will start to work in as it should and dry as it should. This will actually give you a monitor, and it's quite snappy. As you move to a more dry area, it would be instantaneous. You'll be able to see that. No other company has done that before with microcurrent, where they've been able to measure that. So that's a pretty fun one that we've had in there. We've had a lot of great response and reviews on that. And the last one is the actual movement. Those are the XYZ that's almost getting too geeked out on this thing, but it's actually doing a live stream of the actual movement that it's sensing in there. And we won't get into the details, but we may have some fun things that we're going to do in the future with that. But as the device moves, it senses that, and you can see that. But hopefully, Sierra, people will love this. But it's never been done before. But what better way to demo a product for somebody and prove right on their skin at that exact moment, as you move it, they'll see the data in real time, totally precise, completely accurate. Emphasizing just how good and accurate the claims are on this device. They can see it in real time and do this. So we hope people will love this. This has never been done. It's quite a premium experience. There's a lot of people involved to get these algorithms. We own the tech and how this is calculated. This is unique to Nu Skin, but available next week when Renu.
All right, guys, that's all for today. My name is Kurt Provost, your guide to all things Nu Skin. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the over 10,000 people who are also keeping in the know of what's happening about Nu Skin and these incredible products. There are over 200 other videos for you to explore. If you've got a question, there's a fair chance there's a video already that answers that question. So hit the subscribe and go browse through that. If you're watching this going, wow, that's an incredible piece of technology, and I would love to get my hands on that, not just for myself, but for many people around me. I would love to be a supplier rather than just a consumer. If that sounds like you, then I would love to hear from you. My contact details are kurtnuskin@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and I will have a chat with you there about what is possible with this amazing company. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Ciao.